Do you have issues selling ARMs? In case you're not familiar with that, ARMs is an acronym. It stands for Adjustable Rate Mortgages. And, you know, ARMs have a bit of taboo with it coming from the old subprime days and anything that was pre-2009. And so there's a bad taste there's a bad aftertaste in the consumer's mouth, and you should be in your consumer's mouth. So with regards to ARMs, you know, I was hit up by one of my followers who found me on YouTube. And no, actually they found me on Instagram. His name's Shane. So shout out to you, Shane. This episode's for you. And he asked me about how to present an ARM in a more intellectual and smooth manner versus how he presented it. I'm going to share with you how he presented it, and then I'm going to share with you how I would present to it and any changes that I would make, if any. And then the second topic, because I'm going to make this a 2-for-1 since these topics are very close together, the techniques and the strategy is pretty much in line with one another. And it comes from a follower who found me on YouTube. That's right. I was in the recommended section, proud to say. You know, I noticed a big spike since I've joined the recommended section on YouTube. I'm gaining about 150 to 200 followers per month. You know, I'm not saying that I'm cooler now, but what I'm saying is that I'm fucking cooler now. And anyway, Ezekiel found me on there, and he asked me my input on how to calculate points, how to sell fees, you know, and discount points. And I think this is very similar to an ARM because, again, you know, you hear me in my videos where I talk about how society is wired a certain way. You know, we are wired a certain way. We also unknowingly, until we finally admit and realize and acknowledge, can we actually take advantage of it. But we are influenced by certain things, you know, and it's the smallest things. And when you actually pay mind to it on how you're influenced to act a certain way, this is called social influence. Social influence is so persuasive that it can literally talk you into doing things that you would never imagine doing. And if you don't believe me, I know you got Netflix. Go on Netflix, look up this one documentary. It's actually called, I think it's a movie. It's called The Push. The Push, from Darren Brown, Derren Brown. You'll trip the fuck out. Anyway, that has to do with social influence, and you're just gonna see how people respond and they feel persuaded to act a certain way because they don't want to let society down. And so ARMs and points and fees and all that stuff is somewhat in the same light, and I'm going to explain. So if you're having trouble on selling ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, points, fees, and discount points, then you're going to want to watch this episode because I'm going to explain to you how. First off, welcome back. My name is Daniel with Sales Remastered. If this is your first time visiting the channel, I appreciate your time thus far. If at the end of this video I spark your interest or I help you and provide any value in any way, all you have to do is hit subscribe and you're going to be adding me to your feed. So any topics that I release, and you can see those that I've released thus far on the channel, they're going to be on your feed. And if it catches your eye, hit the bell. You know, if it catches your eye, check it out, because that could be the little minimal shift or adjustment that you can make that can add layers on top of the foundation that you're building, meaning that you're just going to climb higher. And so my hope and my intent is that you realize the value and the, I want to say side effect, but ultimately it's the results of this new way of selling, of this new way of influencing. And to learn more on this technique, you definitely want to download the sales script, which is available at SalesRemastered.com. You know, YouTube, there's a link below this video, but I'm getting a lot of feedback saying when you click on the link, it says YouTube doesn't recognize the site. So I got my developers on it. They're plugging it in and doing all the right things. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand it, so I let the pros handle it. So if that's happening to you and you feel cautious, I have a solution. You just open up another tab. Just open up another tab and put salesremastered.com. You're going to see that it's a legit website. Anyway, there's an opportunity to download the sales script that I have. It's free of charge. There's no charge for it. The only thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your personal email, because I'm noticing a lot of work emails bounce back because the domain is salesremastered.com. And so typically your company will quarantine for spam mail. Anyway, go check it out. Leave your personal email, get a copy of the script, open your eyes to a new way of selling and influencing. So going back to the topic, let me explain and let me share with you my experience on these matters. Number one is I grew up in what was called a subprime market, meaning when I started this game of real estate loan officer consulting or senior LO or whatever you want to call it, when I was selling mortgages, when I first started selling mortgages, I said was as if I'm not selling it now. I'm selling them today. Like, as a matter of fact, I just sold 4 of them yesterday. And if you're not on the IG feed, the Instagram feed, you got to go check it out. Because on the story of Instagram, I'll do live events. So like I'll give shout outs, or I'll post the pictures that are actual. So it's almost like a little mini vlog, like you're getting to see behind the scenes. So I invite you to go check out the Instagram channel if you're already on there, which I'm pretty damn sure you're on Instagram. Who's not on Instagram? Add me to your feed, and I might just get you that motivational meme to add a dose of that motivational nutritional hustle to your daily I don't know, fucking meal. So my experience in this is that I came up in a subprime market. I actually started when you didn't need a license. And my company that I first worked with, in case you're not familiar with subprime is basically anyone who's like below a 680 FICO back in the day. Subprime was anything that, couldn't qualify. Basically, subprime is hard money now, right? There was subprime, Alt-A, and A credit, A paper. And A paper was, of course, the ones who could pretty much walk on water. They had the equity, had the income, and they qualified. Whereas the subprime always had some issue, whether they needed a stated income or they needed cash out right away. There's a lot of debt, lower FICO, and so that was considered subprime. And here's the thing is that because we were a subprime lender, we sold subprime products. So obviously it was adjustable rate mortgages, right? Here's the thing is that the company that I started with, the company that taught me how to sell ARMs, the product, my first ARM product was a 2-year fixed, and it had a 3-year prepayment penalty. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's how I learned. And so needless to say, I came across damn near every single objection, every single one. And imagine a prepayment penalty, they don't have them around now, but in case you're not too familiar, prepayment penalty was 6 months worth of interest on top of the payoff. And the interest on these ARMs back then, they're nothing like what they are now. Like the ARMs right now are what, like 3%? Back then when we were selling them, oddly enough, my ARM rate was higher than some A paper lenders fixed rate. So in other words, back then the average fixed rate was like, let's say 6.5 or 7.5, and our ARM rates were like damn near 8.5. Anyway, needless to say, that company that I originally started with, the name was AmeriQuest. That was the name of the company. It was one of the largest subprime lenders next to Countrywide. These two names don't ring a bell. All you need to know is that both companies were shut down by the government for predatory lending practices. And ultimately what they did was they just taught, persuasion and selling to a bunch of kids who didn't need license, but they loved money. And I was one of them. And, only a few people actually really held on to the lessons, because sales training is like medicine, right? Like no one really wants to take it, even though we may need it. No one really wants it. But those that do take it end up getting better much faster. And so I was one of those kids that took the fucking medicine. Anyway, not only did I do that, but I continued perfecting it and mastering it. Because what happened shortly after my employment with the subprime lender is I broke out into a wholesale lender, so I became a broker. And as a broker, meaning that I didn't work for a retail outfit, right? Like I was able to make more commission, and I was able to sell any product. So I sold for multiple lenders, and the strength that I had in going on the street was powerful. Like I was used to selling points. I was used to selling ARMs. And so my experience in selling adjustable rate mortgages, needless to say, is there. It's just that when I went from selling on average of 3 points with a 3-year prepayment penalty and having an interest rate that's higher than your average 30-year fixed rate, needless to say, it took a little bit of craftfulness. It took a little bit of coversion, right? You had to be covert AF, right? And so we were trained to sell nothing but benefit, and we sold immediate benefit, and we put it in a way where when the delivery was done, the prospect was not only eager to get it done, but their loyalty was fully committed to you. And so I'm going to share with you how to sell these adjustable rate mortgages, how to sell these points, these fees on the next video. So hit The arrow to the right, if you're, if you're watching this right now, and it's going to go to the next video. If you catch this at a later time, the link to the next video will be under these notes. And I don't mean to build up the suspense, but I got to hustle too, and I got to get inside the crib. I just went down memory lane with you, and I sparked up some old memories. And I got into some detail that I think is important, because you need to know the cred, right? I'm not just some fucking dude who's like, hey, let's talk about arms. I have no fucking idea about arms. I got a gang of knowledge about arms, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to help you out, and you're not going to look at arms, or you're not going to look at points, you're not going to look at fees, you're not even going to look at selling an FHA with mortgage insurance the same way you do now. As a matter of fact, when I share with you the next video, you're going to be enlightened enough to where all you want to push are arms, government loans, points, discounts, and all that good stuff. As a matter of fact, if they brought back prepayment penalties, you'd probably sell that too. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.